What up? What up? What up? Get Right Fantasy Network. I'm gonna show you guys. I'm rolling sleeves up right now because
It's
we're
about that
getting
time.
into it. We're getting into it. And Frank, thanks for being here, guys.
What up, everybody? How you doing?
How's it going, people? Welcome back.
So as everybody knows, we're going to be jumping in to a lot more changes that happened coming into the 2021 season. We covered the quarterbacks. We're going to jump right into the wide receivers. There's been big changes. There's been big stays, if I'm allowed to say that. People that stayed with their team that are going to have impact. If you guys are ready, let's talk about it after the intro. I don't know what to do with my hands.
That's fine.
And we're back.
Guys, I mean, first and foremost, I'd hate to steal this topic, but it's something that I don't know if I've ever seen. Actually, I think it's the first time it's ever happened. We know who the Super Bowl winners are. I hate to say their name. The Tampa Bay Bucks signed everybody, every starter on their team. They're trying to run it back this year. Should be interesting. But some of the main focuses that we have, and I did say every starter, so we're not talking about Antonio Brown, but they did get a big name. Godwin stayed over there, Ant.
Yeah, the slot man continues. I think he was the leading guy in the year of the slot receiver. He's coming back, signing that franchise tag. I think it's pretty much well stated at this point. There's one guy you don't bet against in sports, and that's Thomas Edward Patrick Brady. You just don't do it. You don't do it at this point.
I did it.
Yeah.
And I've heard dudes going for
I did
rings on
it.
every one of his
Yeah.
fingers.
Yeah, he wants all 10.
If somebody
I heard
has
the
that
same
type
thing.
of goal,
I heard that.
go grab
I
the
heard that.
guy he's throwing the ball to. So Godwin, if you can get him, I love him as a high-end wide receiver 2, low-end wide receiver 1, and we'll see what happens, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, I've had Godwin before, and I thought he was, excellent. And now he's, better with Brady. I think this year too with them, they're going to be, doing even better, like doing Brady things now. You know what I mean? Like they're going to be on the same page. That he's going to know how far he's going to be run. They're going to know when to turn around. That whole thing of, just being in sync with the quarterback and the wide receivers is going to happen and meld for them. I mean, these guys were throwing, they're throwing the Lombardi Trophy across boats. I mean, why not?
I know he's going to catch it. Hey, so here's what
Hey.
I'm going to say. I'm always that guy. I did bet against Brady. It was a long story, but I had to,
Mm-mm-mm.
But
The man
I
had
said
40
all year
touchdowns.
last year. Mike Evans is my favorite, but there's way too many targets over there. OJ Howard and Gronk and Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, Godwin. There's only one football. I mean, I'm still with that same philosophy this year. I'm not picking up any of these Tampa Bay receivers. I think wherever Antonio goes, he's going to be a factor. Like, if he didn't have his meltdown, we'd be talking about him as one of the top 3 greatest receivers, at least some of the greatest in our lifetime. But yeah,
Boy,
I mean,
did
he
he
goes
blow
to
it,
another
huh?
team.
Boy,
Yeah,
did he blow
boy,
it, though.
did he. Hey, CTE is real, man. CTE is real. Hey, but that's not the only move, Frank. Your boy, Mr. Quarterback Proof. The first time I ever heard somebody say somebody is quarterback proof.
And we've looked at the stats, and apparently that is the case. That is the case.
You are not lying.
Allen Robinson gets the franchise tag. Obviously he was trying
The
to get out of
Bears.
how to get out of there. You know what I mean? But did they bring help with Andy Dalton? Did they not?
No.
Hey, again, I still think he's still a draftable wide receiver for me. I'm still gonna go get him, even with Andy Dalton throwing at him. You know what I mean? I think he's gonna be fine. And I'll continue to go for him. I mean, he's the number 1 wide receiver over there, and he shows why he is the number 1 wide receiver and why they didn't want to let him just go.
Yeah. And we actually looked it up together the other day. If you guys have a chance, look up the list of Allen Robinson's quarterbacks. Is terrible, and this guy is steadily coming up as the number one.
Yeah.
I do think Andy Dalton
Steady
is a step
stats
up
every year.
he's a step up over Trubisky for sure, right? And Trubisky, we didn't talk about him on the quarterback show because there's no reason to. He's playing backup down in Buffalo. I can't find a bad thing to say about Robinson.
Yeah.
Except he's getting Tariq Cohen back, who's going to be getting some touches out of the backfield. It's going to open up Chicago to what they've been wanting to be this whole time. He's going to play that.
I think that helps him. I don't think it hurts him. I think that helps him. Get some of the pressure off the number one guy. I mean, please.
Yeah.
I mean, can you name another receiver on the Chicago team?
That's my
Mooney?
point.
And we have a show. Name one.
Mooney?
I'm waiting. Oh, you have it. You're cheating.
That's it.
Well, I have it up. So
Hey, I'm no stats. I'm no stats over
the only other one I would bring up and I would mention is Anthony Miller.
Yeah.
Anthony Miller
He had his weeks.
some plays. Who knows if Andy does well, maybe he'll be, a number two. I mean, they still have Nick Foles. I mean, he did win a
Trey
Super Bowl.
Burton?
Cordero Patterson was the other guy.
Cordell Patterson. Love that guy. Not really fantasy relevant at this point. As a return man, he's awesome.
But Anthony Miller has his, his days. He wide receiver 3 at best. Flex on the bye week. Blah blah.
Stay away.
Yeah.
Stay away.
I know how to plug him in when it's the right time. Anthony doesn't get that guy. He wants to hold on to him. I'm talking about plug and play for a week here and there.
We like
right
it. Hey, so that might come in our later episodes. Again, that's going to be the interesting stuff. That's what wins you weeks is when you're picking up that guy that you need on a bye week, you need on a heavy injury week, something like that. And that's where you're going to hear all our arguments. You make the decision based on that. There was more changes. Anthony, I'll let you break the news. The New York Giants got another receiver out there, didn't they?
Yeah, my main man, Kenny Golladay. Yeah, and I say that because he went down for me last year. I picked him up because he destroyed me the year before. I needed him to have a quiet day. I think he scored an 80-yard touchdown on the first series of the game, and pretty much wiped out my playoff hopes in that one catch. So I drafted him as my wide receiver 1 the following year, and pretty much didn't go according to plan. But so I think
if we're gonna talk about 80 yards, we have to talk about who's throwing him the ball. Mr. 80 yards and fell over his own feet. Freaking Danny Dimes, right? Yeah. Hey, Daniel Jones, let me go over this. Under 3,000 yards. He did have 423 rush yards, but that's the guy that we're worried about. Like, that's the guy that's throwing it to Golladay.
443. Should have been 400.
It dang sure should have. Hey,
I mean, the only guy over there that was worth of anything look wise was Sterling Shepard. Darius Slayton was like a pickup here and there. John Ross was a pickup here and there. So I think Kenny's gonna do good for Danny Jones. And
this is John Ross's first year with New York Giants. Just John Ross was with Cincinnati last year.
I know, but he was just a pickup guy. I'm talking. He's not irrelevant, is what I'm trying to say. He's a pickup guy. What I was trying to get at was, the running game should be better for them this year, so it should make it easier on Danny Jones to be able to get to Kenny.
Okay, true. Now we're talking about Danny Dimes. Let's look at New York Giants.
You know what I mean?
Number 1 receiver over there is, like you said, a pickup here and there. Darius Slayton was their number 1 receiver, and this guy got a whopping 751 yards, 3 touchdowns all year. Danny Dimes. Hey, it sure wasn't. Hey, was Saquon back or not? I'm not touching that guy. Congratulations to him. He got paid. You will not see a Kenny Golladay on my roster anywhere. I'll take Marvin Jones before I take Kenny Golladay.
I'll still pick him up.
Yeah, these guys
trade him after he has that one good game. After he gets that one good game, trade him up.
Yeah. Hey, big trade.
Get a running back. Get me a running back. That's exactly what I'll do. It's like have him
trade him to me.
Yeah, 200-yard game and a touchdown. Oh yeah, thanks, Anthony. Now I got a guy. I got a guy.
I was trying to trade him for you while he was hurt last year. Still, come on.
I know.
Hey, so another team, and we've talked about the wide receivers, right? We talked about Aguilar going to the Patriots on our last show. But Patriots added 3 new bodies over there. Are any of those guys, in your opinion, they relevant? We know how short the tight end, depth chart is in fantasy football.
That's all I keep thinking about is the tight ends over there, John Smith and Hunter Henry, and they got to be worth something, man. I'm telling you, they got to be. Belichick, last time I remember, he had 2 good tight ends. I mean, they were literally.
Yeah.
I mean, he was literally killing it. You know what I'm saying?
No, you can't say that.
No
Hey,
pun
shout out
intended.
to our lawyers. Shout out to our lawyers. For sure.
I was like, don't go there.
It happened.
Come on, it's funny.
Hey, it
now.
happened.
Funny
Hey,
now.
but he's right. He's right. When they
soon?
had Gronk and they had Aaron Hernandez, hey,
Uh,
again, they did have Thomas,
Respect to the
Edward,
family.
Patrick, Brady. We
Right.
get it. Hey, I mean, so there is a difference, but we know what Belichick's trying to do. We know that he's always scheming. He always have a game plan. Somebody that I don't think will have a really big impact, Sammy Watkins. At first, I'm going to say we are going to ignore the fact that John Brown went to the Raiders. We are going to ignore that whole team for the wide receiver episode.
Moving on.
Sammy
Yeah, the
Watkins,
Raiders,
I mean,
irrelevant.
yeah. Is Sammy Watkins any relevance to you guys?
I mean, no. Moving on.
Not really.
I can't argue that either, guys.
I mean, he'll have his
hey,
week here and there, but
I'll give it to Baltimore. They tried their hardest. From
They're
what it
trying.
looked like, Juju's another wide receiver that we're not going to mention. He stayed with Pittsburgh. I mean, they have Deontay over there. They have Chase Claypool. Juju's not going to be relevant, but they tried. Like, it looked like the Ravens tried to pick up a number 1 for Lamar, and the best they could do is Sammy Watkins. I'm still not putting him on my roster.
They still have Marquise Brown, though. I mean, he's still pretty solid. You know what I mean?
I mean, you're probably going to move Hollywood to a number 2 right there. You have a big
And Mark
number
Andrews
1.
is a good tight end, man. I had him last year. He was pretty solid.
Yeah.
Mark
Well, I
Andrews,
mean-
I'll put top 6 tight ends.
Well, I mean, look at it this way. Last year, I think between Willie Snead and Des Bryant, there was like around 50 to 60 targets that went their way. So if those go to Sammy Watkins, what kind of value is that to you?
All of them go there.
That's what I'm saying. So like that's I think the ceiling. So again, we're talking about maybe a wide receiver 4 at best.
And we know Lamar's good. They just are giving him nothing right now. That's a defensive built team. I feel like they always have been.
Yeah.
We don't remember too many years with the Ravens having a dynamic offense. I don't think much changes there. Okay, so we had changes last year.
Dilfer or something.
I mean,
They
Flacco
sure
moved
did.
too, though. Flacco got.
Hey, we
And Joe
cannot
Flacco.
talk about Ray Lewis. Okay. Yeah.
God.
So I would say the last one that really stands out to me this year, he kind of picked up a little bit last year, but how's he going to do without PEDs is Will Fuller. He's going on a great young team. I really do like Miami, but is this going to be a different guy off PEDs now? He had
I'll
a
pick
shot.
him up. I'll pick him up. PED or no PED. He was pretty hot in Houston before. And he's just one of those long, deep ball kind of guys. And then he's actually showed that he could be a number 1. And I think that in Miami, he's going to go to a good situation. You got 2 over there, and I think that's going to be set up properly. You know what I mean? You got the running back situation going well. They obviously got a really good defense. Anthony loves their defense, so I think that the defense will keep them in their games if they have a bad setups and things like that, which would help, kind of like alleviate their mistakes, because I'm sure there's going to be some because of Tua being, finally his first year as a starter. I'd go for him. I'm not.
You're right. Hey, to echo what you're saying, Miami is on the right track with the draft picks that they've accumulated. They got young people in skill positions. Miami's going places. They got a solid defense.
Yeah.
What about
I
you,
mean,
Ant? Do you think he's a factor this year coming into fantasy football, Will Fuller?
Absolutely. I think he's one of those guys when it comes to, those of us that draft running backs early and often. And if you find yourself taking kind of 3 running backs early, like 2,
Yeah.
if not all 3 out of 3 of us here on the podcast would be apt to do if the right 3 running backs kind of became available. In our first 3 picks, I don't think any
Maybe 4.
one of us would even hesitate to do that. And he could be one of those guys that you could take an opportunity and a chance on as your wide receiver 1. Because I think because of all that, the change and, the unknown with Tua, you're going to get incredible value there. So that can be one of those kind of lotto ticket wide receiver 1s that you could take a flyer on, go running back early and often, solidify that. And then, you could have a one of those boom wide receiver 1s potentially.
And I want to bring up also Mike Gesicki, the tight end over there.
Yeah.
He was doing pretty good at the end of the year, which means they now another full year as a starter, and again the situation just gets better. I think that when you have more better players on the team, that it helps the other players be better because then they don't have as much pressure and they could do well. You know what I mean? Like it's just winning begets winning. You know what I mean? Like that kind of attitude. So when everybody's on the page and everybody's doing well, then I think it helps everybody in general.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is you have to kind of try to understand how much of that was Fitzpatrick and how much of that was Tua. So
hey, we
when
refer to him as Fitz Magic on this show.
Fitz Magic, right?
Magic.
Fitz Magic. I apologize out there to the bearded one. But you kind of have to kind of figure that. So does that magic kind of go away a little bit from these guys maybe and kind of head over to Washington towards, dare I say, Scary Terry? Do I say Curtis Samuel, the $34 million man? I mean,
you were right. You had it.
What is, what's going on there? So to me, that's one of the, receiving cores that I'm very interested to see how that plays out because they have a solid defense there in Washington.
You might have to take a flyer on some of those guys.
And hey, man,
I mean, Scary Terry was already draftable.
Yeah. Oh, he could be one of those potential wide receiver 1s. Remember these guys hitting their 2nd and 3rd year.
Yeah.
Wide receiver. This is when they start. Kind of their peak, and this is where they have their big year. So kind of keep that in mind, and you could have a potential top 5 wide receiver on your hands there.
And that's why we're here. We're giving away our secrets at this point. We won't talk about it.
That was a little
Scary Terry.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Hey, Scary Terry. He has what it takes. We see what Fitzmagic did with Devontae Parker. They're getting double-digit targets. There's no reason it shouldn't carry over.
I'm glad you mentioned Parker. I can't believe we talked about Miami and no Parker.
Yeah. Hey, well, we had to.
Across from Fuller.
We're here to talk about these tough moves. We're here to tell you guys our inner secrets. We kind of broke down the wide receivers. We have a lot more shows to go, a lot more episodes. Stay tuned. Frank, Anthony, we appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate your time in it. And I can't wait to talk about all of our favorite episodes. We're talking about running backs next.
Oh, let's do it.
Peace out.
See you guys.